Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's a little bit dark in here. It's kind of a cold, rainy morning, but today I'm going to be filming what I eat in a day for acid reflux, or when I'm in an acid reflux flare. So it's going to be a very different what I eat in a day video. I'm not going to be starting with lemon water, get it, because it's acidic. But if you struggle with acid reflux, you know there's certain foods that can irritate acid reflux, such as lemons, spicy foods, chocolate, coffee, acidic foods, fried foods. Before we dive in, it's so important to note that everyone's diet, everyone's nutrition is individual. Nutrition is not one size fits all, and this video does not replace getting nutrition therapy from a registered dietitian or individualized healthcare from your provider. So if you have personal questions, always refer to your gastroenterologist or a registered dietitian. But if you're new to my channel, my name is Molly Pelletier. I'm a dietetics and nutrition student at Boston University, and I really like to share accessible, science-backed nutrition information that can positively benefit your health and your life. I share lots of acid reflux, gut health tips. If you haven't already checked out my previous videos on acid reflux, I highly recommend doing so. I'm also a 500-hour yoga instructor, so I teach lots of yoga classes and meditations here on my channel, as well as on Instagram. So with all that said, today is going to be a full day of eating, showing you kind of what I would eat if I was in an acid reflux flare. And if you watched my previous videos on acid reflux, you know that I had done quite a bit of healing. I used to be on PPIs for over a year, and I had severe gastroesophageal reflux disease, which is GERD. And GERD is when you have acid reflux 2 or more times per week, so it's reoccurring. You might feel tightness or pain in the chest, like heartburn. You might feel a lump in your throat. You might feel difficulty swallowing, or a sore throat, a hoarse throat. You might feel nausea, sort of like a sour stomach. There's lots of different ways acid reflux will show up, so it's super important that you talk to a doctor and a gastroenterologist, so someone who specializes in the GI tract and in gut medicine. It's also really important to get an individualized plan from a registered dietitian, like I mentioned. So the purpose of this video is not to show you what you should eat, but just give a couple ideas that don't involve some of the trigger foods, such as acidic foods, spicy foods, tomatoes, coffee, chocolate, peanut butter, things that can irritate acid reflux. Since I've struggled with this for such a long time, I've kind of figured out different meal ideas that work for me and kind of a way of eating that I can do when I'm in a flare. So with all that said, I'm not in a flare right now. Luckily, I don't struggle with it anymore, which I never thought would happen. Everything in my previous videos has really helped me overcome acid reflux, and now I can eat pretty much whatever I want. But I'm gonna go through like a day of eating that I would do when I had pretty bad or moderate acid reflux. So I really hope this video is helpful. Be sure to give it a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe down below. It really supports my channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Be sure to hit the bell as well and hit all so you get notified for all yoga, gut health, nutrition. I release new videos every week. All right, let's go make breakfast, and I'll show you an acid reflux friendly breakfast idea. So unfortunately, I had to give up coffee because of my acid reflux. I loved tea and coffee, and it just really irritated my stomach and my IBS. So this doesn't mean you need to give it up, but when I started not having caffeine, my symptoms were 10 times better. So just kind of being aware of it and noticing if that is one of your triggers. Having caffeine on an empty stomach is also another thing. So I would normally have caffeine on an empty stomach. If I have caffeine with food, it's a lot better. So just making sure that you have some food before you have your caffeine if you struggle with acid reflux is really important. Or sorry, there's a really loud car. Or just having it on a full stomach even if you don't have acid reflux, because it's helpful for your hormones. So I'll normally have like some hot water with maybe some ginger tea, and not super hot because I don't want to burn the lining of my esophagus, which is already sensitive because of acid reflux. So just like not super hot would be my tip there. Something else that I just want to stress before we begin is that everyone has different triggers. So just because I struggle with peanut butter and chocolate and coffee doesn't mean that you can't have those foods. So everyone is really different, and it's important to kind of just be aware of the general acid reflux triggers, but don't get caught up in I can't have this, I can't have that, because it gets super stressful. And you might already feel this if you struggle with acid reflux, that food can be challenging because you're afraid of symptoms, and I've been there. It's so tough. But it's important to just have an open mind, know that portion size is really important. So you could maybe have a small amount of chocolate and not the whole bar and be fine and not have symptoms. Or maybe you can have a small amount of coffee, but a larger cup will cause symptoms. So it's just kind of knowing your body and try not to feel so much anxiety about food, because food should still be fun. There's so many ways to still incorporate delicious food into your life, even if you struggle with acid reflux. So eggs are a really great food for IBS, for acid reflux, because they're a really easy digestible protein. They're full of vitamins and minerals. They have every vitamin except vitamin C. So they're like a little vitamin in itself. So what I'm doing is just cooking a couple eggs, and then I'm gonna add some spinach so the spinach gets a little wilty, and I'm gonna top it on a high fiber bagel. So these are kind of random, but this is what I'm using today just because it was what's in the house. They're high fiber bagels. They're called bagel thins. And they have like 5 grams of fiber, which is great. Fiber is great for gut health. Normally I get it from fruits and vegetables, but if you can get it from a bagel, win-win, because then you're eating a bagel and still getting fiber. So my spinach is wilting, and that's another thing I wanted to mention, is that when I had a really bad acid reflux and IBS, I would cook all my veggies. So when you wilt down your greens or cook your veggies, it's easier to digest and your stomach will produce less acid to break it down. So that's one of my biggest tips for veggies and still incorporating vegetables, is to, that was my bagel, is to just cook them so they're easier to digest. Also, if you are vegan and you don't like eggs, in my last video where I talk about balanced eating and how to meal plan for beginners and meal plan for gut health, I talk about a overnight oats recipe that I make that's vegan, that's super gut friendly. It does have berries, which are a little bit acidic, but berries were fine for me if I just had them in smaller quantities. If you don't tolerate berries well, you could also do either mango or some honeydew melon, something less acidic, maybe apples, banana, that's another great one. So check out that video. It was my video for this one on meal planning. So I added some nutritional yeast, which has lots of essential, lots of B vitamins. And it's great for vegans to add protein and B vitamins, B12. So this is a really easy, simple breakfast, and definitely not something that took me more than 5 to 6 minutes. Took longer because I was filming this video, but I highly recommend doing this, and also highly recommend getting like a high fiber grain bagel or toast. I also really like Dave's Killer Bread. They have great bagels, great whole grain bread, because whole grain has fiber and essential vitamins and minerals, which is great for gut health. Alright, I'm gonna eat my breakfast, check in with you guys later when I make lunch, and show you what a typical lunch would look like for me. Just kidding, I got hungry before lunch, so I'm having some of these Trader Joe's grainless tortilla chips. They have great ingredients, and I actually can do a side-by-side comparison of CHA in these because I also have CHA chips. Side-by-side comparison of Trader Joe's grainless tortilla chips and CHA grain-free tortilla chips. I'm gonna try the CHA first. So this is the lime flavor. I'm a huge fan of CHA. I just think the flavors are amazing. I love the lime, it's really strong. The nacho is also my favorite, and they're really thin, which I like. They're thin and they're kind of like melt in your mouth. All right, now I'm trying Trader Joe's grainless cassava and coconut tortilla chips. First impression is that they're thicker. They're a little bit more heavy duty. Like these might be better for dipping. Definitely a little crunchier. They're definitely not as flavorful because the CHA chips that I normally buy have flavor, but they're still really good. Honestly, you can't go wrong with either of them. I think I'm partial to CHA because the flavors are amazing, but they're both really great. So I hope this was helpful. I would definitely recommend the Trader Joe's as well if that's where you shop, because they don't sell CHA at Trader Joe's, just Whole Foods and Amazon, I think. But you can't go wrong. They're both delicious. All right, lunch is going down. I'm starting with some organic spring mix, and I already made this pasta. It looks really gross, I'm sorry. But it's actually, I'll show you the box. It's edamame and mung bean pasta. So if you're gluten-free or if you have a gluten intolerance, this pasta is amazing. I'm not gluten-free because clearly I just ate that bagel earlier. But I love gluten-free stuff. Like some of the stuff is just delicious. So this is 24 grams of protein and 14 grams of fiber. So if you have IBS, you may want to just kind of watch your fiber intake and find that sweet spot of fiber that works for you. But I love this. It's so great for plant-based eaters because it has protein. You don't need to add another protein source. I get it at Stop & Shop, and the brand is called Explore Cuisine. And this is not sponsored, by the way. I wish it was because I love this company. But you can also get it on Amazon. So what I did is I mixed it with pesto, just a little bit of pesto. I didn't want it like really heavy with pesto. I also mixed it with jarred artichokes. So you can get jarred artichokes at Trader Joe's, at Stop & Shop, wherever. So I mixed that and I made this like pesto artichoke pasta, and it's honestly bomb. So now what I'm gonna do is microwave the pasta and the greens together because that wilts the greens down, and technically that means they're cooked, so they're a little bit easier to digest. So I'm gonna go pop that in the microwave and be right back.
Can you tell me why I'm down? Yeah. No friends of mine around. Yeah. Now I'm thinking might have caught the June blue.
Okay, so I get that my food might not look that appetizing today, but it's really good. It's really nutrient dense and full of fiber, full of nutrients, protein, things that really nourish your gut. And so what I did, I just added some more nutritional yeast, and I added some hemp seeds, which are rich in omega-3s, which are very important for gut health, and they also have protein and fiber. Yum. I also added hummus. I like to have like a creamy aspect in a bowl. So sometimes I'll do like avocado or hummus or Greek yogurt. Another component of eating that is extremely important for people with acid reflux or IBS is mindful eating. So what this means is being aware of our hunger and fullness cues, not going too long without food, because our gut doesn't like it when we go too long without food and then we have a massive amount of food. It actually likes regular balanced meals. So this one of the most common issues with people who struggle with digestive issues is that their meals are irregular or imbalanced. So taking a look at your meals, seeing if they're regular, if they're balanced at regular intervals, that's super important. And then pausing to know, like, what am I really craving? What do I really want in this moment? Can give you better insight into a meal that will be the most satisfying and the most nourishing. And then when you're eating the meal, taking a few deep breaths before you start, taking a few breaths in between bites, putting the fork down, and just really savoring each ingredient, each bite, and connecting with the food. It's just such a better experience than eating really quickly. And sometimes I do that when I'm starving. I'm really definitely guilty of eating standing up or eating very fast. So I've really been trying to eat mindfully, and I've noticed a huge difference in my gut health since I started doing this. I'm kind of the type of person that eats a dessert after every meal. So I really love chocolate, which is sad because chocolate is a big trigger for me. But instead of regular chocolate chips, I just have been doing white chocolate. That works fine for me. It's still that like extra like little sweet bite. Sometimes I'll make like my protein balls. You can find that recipe on my Instagram. It's really simple and easy. And you can make it acid reflux friendly by not using peanut butter. Sunflower seed butter or almond butter is generally better for people with acid reflux, and using like vanilla protein powder instead of chocolate protein powder. So if you make any of those recipes, be sure to comment down below, and be sure to leave me a comment down below if these meals and these tips are helpful for you, and if you'd like to see more acid reflux or IBS or gut health videos in the future. So it's around like 3:30 and I normally want a snack at this time. So what I'm having is a Raw Rev Glow Bar. These are delicious. And I specifically choose bars that don't have chocolate or peanut butter. So this one actually is birthday cake flavored. Texture is amazing. Another great source of fiber and protein. And it just tastes really great. And also a cup of ginger tea. And then I refilled my water bottle because it's super important to stay hydrated. So something else that really helped me that I've talked about in previous videos is eating smaller, more frequent meals. So IBS and acid reflux can be irritated if we eat a huge meal at once. So it's really important to kind of balance out your food throughout the day and make sure that you're staying nourished. Smaller meals just work way better for me. That was one of the biggest game changers for me in healing my acid reflux, in addition to some herbs and some other lifestyle changes. So if you haven't seen those videos, I highly recommend looking back on my channel for those. So right now I'm just gonna do some work and check back in later for dinner. Good morning. So I realized I didn't really make an ending to this video, and I also wanted to say a couple things about the dinner that I had. So I had Mexican food, which is a big kind of like fear food for people with acid reflux, I think, because it has 1, spicy food usually, 2, really sometimes fatty food, and then 3, if you have IBS, it also has beans, which could be a trigger for some people. But I did want to mention that you can still have Mexican food if you have acid reflux. There's just a couple little switches that will make it a little bit easier for you to tolerate. So last night I actually just had a plate with some rice, a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of beans because I didn't want to have too much fiber, and then I had some ground chicken, and I just asked my mom who prepared the food to just not make it super spicy. So it wasn't very spicy, it didn't bother my acid reflux, and I think this would have been a very safe meal for me to eat during my time with acid reflux. And then I just had a little bit of avocado, a little bit of Greek yogurt on top because that's what we like to use instead of sour cream. It was delicious, it was super easy. Some red pepper and some little veggies on the side, just in small amounts because everything in moderation. And last night I did have a glass of Prosecco, but if you are having super bad acid reflux, I recommend just doing like an iced hibiscus tea or something not bubbly, not alcoholic to drink that feels fun for you, just so you can still have a drink with dinner. Alright, so that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to hit subscribe down below and the bell so you get notified for all my future videos. Thank you so much. It really supports my channel. If you'd like to see more of these types of videos or more what I eat in a day, more nutrition, more gut health, be sure to comment down below, let me know, and give this video a like. Thanks again for your support. I really hope this video was helpful, and as always, be sure to reach out to a doctor or a registered dietitian for more personalized nutrition advice. I'll see you next time.